What's going on, guys? This is Nathan, the show kind of welcome you to another deck profile here on the channel. Today I've got Kuchi here with his branded Despia deck. I'm going to let him jump into it and explain how it is, but this is his very first deck profile, so we're going to let him have it. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I'm playing two of the Albion, the Shorty Dragons. So this one is part of the branding engine. We can send one Spanish spell trap to the graveyard, and then you can draw one. So we always send maybe brand opening to protect our fusion monsters, and then we draw one card. 3 Fallen of Albert, and 3 Aluber, 2 Tragedy, and 1 Dramaturge, 1 Liberton. So those are like some normal sets. And I'll place 2 Tri-Brigade Mercuries.
So this card right here, I have not actually played this card because I play Brandon in the deck that I'm currently playing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how good this card was with the effect negation until now. So
yeah. So first, this one is a negation, and it negates whatever hand traps or maybe cards in the graveyard. But it didn't destroy. You have to have one fusion monster using Albaz as a fusion material in your field. But this card is searchable.
Yeah.
So that's why we play it here. So we have the card called Branded Lost. The Branded Lost is one of the branded engine. So when we successfully fusion summon a fusion monster, so we can search for a card use for at least the Fall of Albaz in its effect. So we can just search for this one, and then we get a free negate.
Yeah. Searching for your negate, I like it.
Yeah. So. And also this card can do a chain block. Once I successfully fusion summon, my opponent can't activate any card in response to the fusion summon timing. So I can just do my chains freely.
Okay.
We play 3 Branded Fusion. I would say this is the most powerful card so far this year. And we play 3 Branded Opening. So for branded opening, there's a skill because a lot of guys running draws against the branded decks because we always draw a lot of cards. So sometimes if you have branded opening in your hand, you can in your draw phase directly use branded opening to special summon Aluber, and then Aluber add a Durant Fusion or something else to your hand. And because you draw all the cards, do all the activations in your draw phase, so they can't chain with draw.
Okay. So they have to have the Ash.
Yeah, and we play 3 of a lot of darkness. Play 3 of a lot of darkness. This card we draw 2 and banish. For those cards we have 2 Tragedy and 2 Mercury. So those cards can give you extra profits when you use a lot of darkness to banish them.
Oh, okay.
So you draw 2, and if you banish a Tragedy or Mercury, then you can draw search for Despia monster according to Tragedy effect, or Mercury at the Shorty Dragon, and you use Shorty Dragon to send one spell to the graveyard, and then you draw another card.
Ooh, okay.
So actually, this card, along with one, or maybe with Tragedy or Mercury, you draw 3, and then it's really nice to draw some cards, for example, like Caught by Grave or something else. Here we have a small engine. It's the Imp Chain and Patchwork engine. So usually people run 2 Patchworks or maybe 3 Imp Chains. I only run 2 of each because I want to keep my deck, the number of my main deck as small as possible, so that it will be easier for me to draw those cards.
Did you ever run into scenarios where you wished you had another polymerization?
Not really, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So for polymerization, usually we have 2 ways to use it. The first way is if we play second. If they already have a strong board, we normal summon 1 or 2 monster, one monster, and then we use poly to call the Chimera to destroy them. And the second way is if we do our combo and we still have some monsters remain on the field or maybe some resource on the hand, we can use poly to make a stronger board. And here we go with some interruptions or some. So here I also play some 2 branded in red and 1 branded banishment. So those cards can be searched by the Albion when you use Mirror Jade to send Albion to the graveyard.
Okay.
So whether which card you want to use depends on the opponent you play. For example, if we play against the Despias, we would prefer to use banishment. Because when you get banishment results, it's more like a super pony. You can banish the fusion materials from your field and your opponent's field.
Oh, okay.
And they got banished, so usually they can't recycle them. And for brand new red, we will expect it to call Chimera in your opponent's turn, and we use a Chimera to pop maybe 1 or 2 of their cards. And usually, especially when they activate some continuous spells, something else, and you really hate them, then you can use brand new red to call the Chimera. Sometimes in your turn, if you want to get your monster effect results, if you already have a Despia monster in your graveyard, and they target your monsters, you can chain with brand new red, and just do a fusion summon, and their targeting spells or traps lost the target. You still get your monster effect results. And here, and those are some normal stuffs. Impermanence, called by grave, I play 3 crossout, 2 ash, effective viewer, and 1 snow. So we play 1 snow because sometimes we can use the brand fusion to send snow and albas to the graveyard. And then, if the hand is really good enough, we can make a really strong board, and you will have a lot of resources in your graveyard. Then we can maybe let Snows jump out, and then she can set 1 card to the face down. And for crossout, sometimes people use a lot of darkness and petrol Genji because they think even if their brand fusion got ashed, they can still use the fusion and maybe a lot of darkness to draw good cards to still do their combos. But I feel like the most powerful card in Despia deck is Brand Fusion. I really want this card to get results, so I will use Crossout and to banish Ash to block their Ash. But here the thing is, if we only bring 1 Ash, then sometimes if we draw this, the Crossout can be useless. So I run 2. I don't run 3 because this deck, it really doesn't depend on the hand traps. I would prefer to do my own combo. If I draw good enough cards, I can break the board by my opponent.
So these are all for the stopping your opponent from stopping you, pretty much. Okay.
So this is my main deck. And
how many cards is it?
It's 42.
42?
Yeah. So this is my extra deck. So extra deck, play 2 Albion and 2 Rebellion and 2 Mirror Jade. So pretty normal stuff. And I play the Glory Dragon, Ash Dragon, and the Abyss Dragon. Those 3 are just some bullets for the Mirror Jade.
Okay.
And this card is kind of new. It's in Dimension Force. Because it's like a contact fusion. So if I met Dragon Link, like they call their Dragon Link boss monsters, I can set Albas and directly use Albas and their monsters to contact fusion this Abyss Dragon. And they can do response to it. And here we'll see the Despia card, 1 Curtis. I only play 1 Blading Dragon. Because sometimes you can call 2 Blading Dragon, but we don't know what our opponent plays in game 1. So you just do this, you just burn them, but you really don't stop them. So if they do their combos, and it can easily remove the Blading Dragon. So if I don't know my opponent what he plays, I will prefer to play Cortis. So this card will save you from most of the situations. First, it has an effect it's a quick effect. So turn all the monsters on the field except level 8 or higher fusion monster, their attack and defense to 0. So this can protect you from being OTK. And if they negate it, or maybe they destroy it, let it pop it or just banish it from the field. And this card got banished or leave the field by the opponent's card effect. It can special summon Albas from my deck. And then Albas got a special summon, it can super poly my opponent's monsters. So
seems good.
Yeah, and play 1 Guardian Chimera. Someone runs 2. I think 2 or 1 is fine, but usually once you get your Chimera resolves its effect successfully, you almost got the game.
Yeah, at that point it's game, because you're popping their stuff, you'll be able to draw more cards. So.
Draw more cards and pop them, and this is so good. I play 2 Predator Plant Dragos to Power. So I think the number is adjustable altogether with the Chimera. At least one. You can do the negates, and you can always. Sometimes you feel that like sword souls, you give them a counter, and their level 10 to 1, they can do the simple summon. I here play one card. It's like technologies, the Borrowed Furious Dragons. Why we play this is because sometimes we will let flow boundary players, and they got the D shifters. So when they call D shifters, because Mirror Jade effect has to send one monster from extra deck using Abba's Fulfillment exactly to the graveyard. But as D shifters, we can't use Mirror Jade. So at that moment, we will call the Borrowed. So we just send one Albert and maybe one Shrouded Dragon. So 2 Dark Dragon monsters to the graveyard, and we do the Rebellion. And then we use Rebellion to shuffle Albert and the Shrouded Dragon back to the deck, and we call the Furious Dragons. And sometimes, if I feel like my opponent is likely to play Mystic Mind, the most annoying spell toward the Despia, I would first call this one, not the Mirror Jade. Because when they activate Mystic Mind, I can use Barrel. This card effect is destroy one monster I control and one card my opponent control. So it's a quick effect and once per turn. So if we have the Branded Opening in our graveyard, which can protect our fusion monsters from being destroyed, then we can use, it's almost like a free destruction.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you can stop it.
And also we can use this card to destroy some, like the adventurers, the continuous spell, and then they can do the combos. So I think this card is kind of good, but
I had never even thought about using it, but I like it.
It's like half-half. Like sometimes it can help you, sometimes it's just like in your extra deck.
All right. Well, is there anything that you would change in your main deck at all out of the 42 cards?
Yeah, maybe in the future I will slightly change, like just hand traps, like maybe bring more hand traps, because I feel like if you don't have any hand traps and just let your opponent do a full combo, like the punk adventure punk, and then they just do the lock, and then you can't do anything.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into that side deck. We'll see what you got going on in there.
Yeah, so side deck, 2 Twin Twisters, 2 Cyclones. I don't play the Lightning Storm or the Duster because I feel like the quick play spells is better, because someone may play the, I would say, this card, anti-spell Fragrance, and once they play the Fragrance, I can't use Dusters or anything to pop them off. I would prefer to use the quick play spells to chain and then let my Branded Fusion get results. And this is for that. And I play 3 D-Barriers. D-Barriers, most powerful trap against not only the Fusion but also the Synchro decks, against Sorcerer, against Despiers, so just so good.
And it works because you're playing the cross out too, so you can banish it to stop them from doing it.
Sometimes I would say like I side only one, just for in case like they use D-Barriers, and we have the cross out to negate it. Otherwise, it can stop us for a whole turn. And we play Red Reboot. Always get this cost. Even it's a limited card, but if you draw this, it gives me like safety feel kind of. Then Zombie Warrior and Banshee, still some Floundering players, especially at our locals. So I'm deciding Zombie Warrior and Banshee, and if I play first, activate those cards. And someone playing the LL Tri-Brigade, so this card can also stop them from playing.
Oh yeah, it does.
So these are for those cards. And similar thing is for playing second, I was adding the Dark Ruler No More, Regeki, and the Evenly Matched. I'm still adjusting how many cards I should run for them, but I would say 1 versus 1. So 2 Dark Ruler and 2 Removal, because as more and more Adventure Punk and other decks they do, and Dragon Links, they really do crazy combos. They really have a strong board. So for Despias, we only have Chimera and maybe Mirror Jade to remove their monsters. So I would say it's better for me to use those cards to clean the board or stop them, because they also have some negates. So I use Dark Ruler, and if I'm lucky enough to draw Regeki or Evenly Matched, then Dark Ruler with together with those 2 cards, I can clean the board. And I run 1 draw. The draw is not for stopping my opponent. It's just my bullet for the crossout. Sometimes they run the draw, and if I know they use draw in game 1, then I will side in draw in game 2 or game 3. so that I can use cross out my opponent.
Seems good to me.
Yeah, so mostly my strategy is if you play first and if you lose your game 1 and you play first, the main deck is good enough. You just need to maybe side some D barriers or maybe a draw if they're afraid of draw. So you just do this. And if you win game 1 and you play second, I would siding maybe toward based on their archetype. Dark Ruler, Regeki evenly matched this by siding and also by siding this. So these 8 cards I siding them. Then which card I will kick from my main deck is if I play second, I will kick out all those cards because based on my opponent's deck, if they are doing the combos, I kick out all the crossout and the card bar grave because I want to draw the Dark Ruler no more and the Regeki. So I just kick those cards. They can really help me to clean their board. And I'll also kick out the Branded Banishment because this is a trap. And if you play second, this card is useless.
True.
I might even kick out one Branded in red. Still have one in my deck. So I just need one to come back. And then I'll kick out one Albert because I play 3 copies of Albert. So I kick one. I still have 2 in my deck, so I can at least use 2 Branded Fusion. And I'll kick out maybe one more Tri Brigade. So I'll keep my Alert of Darkness and the Patchwork Engine in my deck because those cards, if my opponent lets them resolve, I can draw more cards that can do my combos. So this is my strat when I play second.
Alright, well thank you so much for bringing us your deck profile. You guys will have to let us know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of his very first deck profile. We should bring him back for more deck profiles in the future. But make sure to stay tuned later on this week. There will be a live duel where you can see this deck in action. That's all I've got for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. As always, this is Nathan's Academy, signing out for now. Peace out.